And welcome to yet another round of the Racing Pals Endurance Series here at Road America. Today is a 4 hours endurance race with multiple drivers in each team, some even taking this challenge on their own as solo drivers, and most teams actually taking 2 drivers in this race. Today's track is Circuit of Americas, which is a 3.4 mile or 5.5 kilometer circuit with 19 turns, and we'll go on a lap in just a moment with one of our drivers. Today's qualifying will be divided into two for both classes which are taking part in this event, GT3 and GT4. This qualification would take 30 minutes. GT3 will take the latter 15 minutes, and GT4 will begin the session shortly in about 13 minutes from now. My name is Darkius, and I'll be glad to host this race. Today will be a challenging one, as we have far fewer drivers than we are used to, but it should still nonetheless offer some spectacle, if at least at the beginning, and I hope that we will keep all of our cars and drivers as we go further into this race. I hope also to be joined by some of our stewards and even drivers this afternoon, as they will make their way and watch their teammates race around the track, which is a challenging track, Circuit of Americas. Today's worst enemy will be track limits for many drivers, especially in the first sector, where a lot of track cuts can indeed take place going over the sausage curbs. And then obviously juggling this between two drivers across 4 hours race, that drive-through can be the difference between a win or being further down the order. Today we have 11 signups, that is 11 cars. However, it seems like only 6 have joined so far. We hope to see the rest join further on. If not, we'll be battling for the order of the podium in both classes, with 3 GT3 cars and 3 GT4 classes. At the moment, we have 1 Porsche 992 and 2 McLarens, which should do pretty well on this track. And in GT4, we've got 1 Alpine, 1 Chevrolet Camaro, and 1 BMW GT4. Looking at the track now, 17 corners as we start a lap with Team Van Vekel. Who will be coming to the end of the track fairly soon, as he's in the last section. And actually he's heading off into the pits and narrowly missing the pit entrance. Not easy one to get right, and definitely worth practicing before the race. As we switch over to Patrick Starr, now coming out of the pits. Passing turn 1, often a tricky overtaking spot, but also a big opportunity with a large entry, which then pinches and then follows into turn 3 and 4, which largely resembles the Mackett's and Beckett's section at Silverstone. This track in fact borrows a lot of its sections from various other tracks in the world, such as Hockenheim and Silverstone. And then ending into the tighter right-hander, which then goes over the sausage curb once turning onto the left. Very tricky to keep the car on the track in this corner. And now entering the hairpin, which marks the beginning of sector 2. Careful to not hit the sausage curves on the exit here. Bob Sponge in the car, teammate obviously of Patrick Starr in the Bikini Bottom racing team. Braking for another tight corner, turn 12, and now entering sector 3 as we keep turning right into this section, which is very tough on the tires. And then balancing the car for braking, which is always whilst turning, as we exit the corner. A bit off the track in this case. Continuously turning right for turn 17 and 18 into 19. Again, track limit's a big issue in this corner, one that you can win or lose a lot of time. And finally into turn 20, the last corner of this track. Extremely important to get a good exit, for you want to catch up to others into turn 1 as the prime overtaking spot of this track. Thank you, Bob Sponge, for taking us around this track. The current fastest lap belongs to JT Walters in a Porsche 992. His best lap at 2 minutes and 6 seconds, 0.9. So just cutting under the 2 minutes and 7 minutes. With a gorgeous livery today for SGSS Racing, with white and gold accents. As an enjoyer of Porsches, I very much enjoy that one. US driver, or US based team at least. No doubt they'll want to be competitive on their home track. In GT4, we have Babai Fuyutsuki practicing with the All-American Camaro GT4 with the NASCAR livery, no doubt inspired by the Camaro livery that took part in the recent 24 Hours of Le Mans. Great looking car that was. And I hope this bodes well for upcoming American cars in Assetto Corsa Competizione. We hope to see the Mustang come to the game fairly soon, though that may be just wishful thinking. If you have just joined us, welcome once again. I would love to hear your thoughts, by the way. What is your favorite American ACC track? Not too many to choose from. Some I think are definitely better than others, and I'm curious to hear your opinions. With now 5 minutes left into free practice, after which we'll be beginning qualification for GT4 drivers. Qualifying will be no doubt be challenging. There is not that much time to make a few good laps on a long track such as this one of the longest laps on the calendar. I think the second longest track on the calendar behind Spa from a lap time perspective. However, due to the number of cars on track, each car will have plenty of space to do their laps. So it will be about maximizing the few laps and opportunities they might get in qualifying. It is pretty hot at the Circuit of the Americas today, with 29-degree ambient temperature, 37 on the track. So definitely a great day for racing, but maybe a challenging set of conditions for cars that degrade their tires very quickly. Camaro might be one of them. I know for sure the Porsche GT3 in the leads at the moment in terms of lap times, will be equally challenged by this tire degradation, and thus teamwork and setup work will be paramount in this race to ensure that the tires keep their life, so that the car doesn't become impossible to drive throughout the stint. At this track, some cars may expect a drop off in grip from the tires at about 30 to 40 minutes, especially in these hot conditions. So it will be up to the drivers and to the teams to see how they can cope with such challenging conditions for their tires. As we get back with Bob Sponge in the Bikini Bottom Racing team, no doubt trying to improve on the current practice times. A team that seems to not have had much practice yet, but is now doing their best to put in some more competitive times in an attempt to challenge the current leader, who seems to be quite at ease with a over 1 second margin, perhaps on a quali setup at the moment. Actually, Matthew Heaven, currently in the leads, is off the track, maybe nursing a hardware or car problem. He'll no doubt want to return to the pits shortly, as he's currently triggering a yellow flag in his sector. As we get on board with Bob Sponge, approaching the hairpin. Ooh, that seems early. I think we're just taking the car back to the garage. Or maybe nursing another car or hardware issue on the fly. Luckily, not too many cars behind to follow. And it seems like we're back. One minute left in free practice. And now we can have a look actually from the inside of the Camaro on the HCR by Hendrick Motorsports. HCR has been present in a lot of our events here at Racing Pals. Salutations from Racing Pals to HCR. Always glad to see you guys on board. Today's team from HCR is composed of 2 drivers, with Fuyutsuki and Hiro Kurokami. 2 Japanese names, however, I believe we have 1 Russian driver and 1 Japanese driver. Keeping to the inside on this long right-hander, as we seem to have had a server issue or disconnection. Indeed. And I see now that the race has been actually cancelled due to low participation. Yeah, I can see this has been confirmed. It is no surprise really. As of today, we've seen a pretty low list, not only of participants, but people who actually joined after they've actually signed up to the race, which is definitely atypical for Racing Pals. We tend on these Racing Pals endurance events to have a lot more people join. So it would seem that as of now, we'll be returning to our normal Saturday activities. If you have been missing on the Formula 1, I encourage you to catch that now. And I think we'll be just finishing this stream pretty soon. In any case, for all those who joined to watch this race, thank you for joining. Unfortunately, this has been a little stroke of bad luck in terms of participation, but for sure we'll be back with a next endurance event, which will no doubt be in a more popular circuit and hopefully welcome the usual number of participants that we expect. For example, I think last race we had about 35 participants at Spa. I have no doubt that the next race we'll see a lot more. In terms of next races, maybe I can speak to you about a few different ones. Coming up this Sunday, we have the next round of RP Series, which will take place at Alton. Quite a different round this time, with 2 mandatory pit stops on a 60-minute race, mixed conditions. Absolutely looking forward to that one. It should be a absolute laugh, and I hope that we'll see many of you in this race. Next, we will have the next round of Project A, which will take place next Sunday at the usual time. And that will be one of the last few rounds of Project A, I believe the penultimate. And all is still to play for. That is on Assetto Corsa next Sunday. And that's it. I think it is time now to close the stream and to thank you all once again for showing up, at least a few of you. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much, and on behalf of Racing Pals, have a great one. Bye-bye.